What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So there's a few days have passed since the Zelinski Trump Vance incident at the Oval Office at the White House, and I would like to think that the dust has settled a little bit. And I was just looking at different videos, different channels that I'm into, learning new things, and something dawned on me. I felt like making this video. So let me start with this. I know that when I make these videos, I am never trying to convince anyone of anything. I am sharing my opinion from my perspective. Okay? I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate in my beliefs. And let me explain something. I am a former gang member. I am a former criminal, crook, gangster, convicted killer. I am a lot. I am no longer those things, but those things make up and made up who I am now. See, I was never supposed to get out of prison. More than that, I was never supposed to change my mindset. I was supposed to keep thinking like a crook, thinking like a killer, thinking like a gangster, and stay in that mindset, stay in that box, stay behind those walls, and be miserable. But a strange thing happened along the way. I began to grow up. I began to realize that I was not happy being those things and thinking that way. And so I started to look within myself. I started to evaluate what my beliefs were about myself, about people, and about the world. See, that's the only way you can actually effectuate any type of change, is going within. I could have easily kept pointing my finger at everybody else and blaming everybody else for my poor decisions. See, because we don't blame them for our decisions, we blame them for reacting to our decisions. Because we can justify our decisions when we're like that. When we're doing wrong, we can always justify it. We can call it racism. We can call it I am a product of my environment. We can make excuses. Prison, I promise you, is full of the best excuse makers in the world. And there's a lot of them out here on the streets. But if they do not go within themselves and figure out what they're responsible for and why they're responsible for it, they will not stop doing and saying and acting the way that they do. So when I did my internal work, I have to evaluate everything. Why do I believe this? Why do I believe that? Where did I get this from? Why did I accept that? And along the way, when I was changing myself, I had to change those beliefs. My understanding of politics changed. I was forced to change my understanding of politics. And I'm not talking prison politics. I'm talking about state, local, federal, world politics. I'm looking at Elon Musk. I'm looking at how people who are against what he's doing, how they are treating what he's doing. Have you noticed that they keep saying that he's a bad businessman, or he got lucky to become a billionaire, or he's weird, or he's not elected, or a whole laundry list of things about him? But they're not addressing what he's doing. Isn't that weird? Doesn't that seem strange? That our mainstream media and the politicians on the left keep talking about like adjectives, right? Like descriptions of a man instead of what he is doing. He is searching for corruption. He just did an interview on Joe Rogan. Great interview. Go check it out. He did an interview and he said that he knows if he exposes all of the corruption, he will not live. That he understands the limits to what he can expose. And look at what he's already exposing. You know, there's a thing that just came out, USAID, USAID. This weird, shady thing. I wrote it down. It was 98% of USAID's donations have gone to organizations who politically lean left. Billions of dollars. You have George Soros setting up NGOs, non-governmental organizations. And he puts a few million into these NGOs, and they get these grants from liberal administrations totaling billions of dollars. And no one's worried. No one has any concern about why is it that these left-leaning organizations, mainstream media organizations, period, why is nobody questioning the millions and billions that are being sent into that political party, that political thought process? We are in a very, very, very dangerous time, a very, very, very dangerous place. When we have money pouring in to a political party, a political thought process, and yet those that are receiving it are trying to deceive the rest of America into believing that the other party is the party of the 1%. But we can all just look at who is registered as a Democrat. And you will see just about every billionaire in the United States. Just about every millionaire in the United States. I mean, not all of them. Of course, the right has some. But it's overwhelmingly left. Why is it that the lie keeps being shoved down people's throats? That the right is the party of the 1%. You know, we have this thing that just occurred with Zelinski. And, there were some people that I saw that have been subscribers and supporters of my channels for a long time that took offense to my stance. And that's a shame, because at the end of the day, this is what it boils down to. Trump wants to end the bloodshed. Who is against that? Who is against stopping war? Who is against stopping killings, stopping bloodshed? Who? I don't think the people that were upset with me are against that. And so why do we get caught up in the interaction of world leaders when we want the war to stop? So Trump wants to stop that war. He also wants to stop the waste of taxpayer money, not just on that war, but everywhere. Why is there, who has a problem with that? Seriously, those of you who didn't like my words in my video, Would you prefer to keep more of your money? Would you prefer to keep more of your money in the United States? Would you prefer to stop war and bloodshed? I'm pretty sure the answer to all of those things is yes. So how can an interaction in the White House by the man that wants to stop all of these things be a problem? Why is our mainstream media making this thing bigger than it needs to be? I have said it and I will say it again. Every single thing that Zelinski had to say, had it been said behind closed doors, it would have been heard. There would have been a debate. They could have shook hands, had a deal, everybody go home. Zelinski did exactly what the deep state wanted. And that's a reality. There are people bigger than Zelinski, bigger than Trump, bigger than Biden, bigger than any political figure in the world. We don't know their names. They have no allegiance to any nation. Their allegiance is to power, money, and influence. And until we figure that out, we're stuck on the hamster wheel. Who really believes that the billions and billions of dollars in aid that go to Ukraine, that every penny actually goes to the war? I don't. I don't at all. Why is there a faction in the world, in this country and in the world, that love war? Because the United States will send billions of dollars to one side or the other. Billions of dollars that won't be tracked, that won't be traced, and that we don't know where it goes. Meanwhile, the presidents of the countries that receive that aid, when they leave office, if they ever leave office, they're extremely rich. And their salary doesn't justify those riches. So I ask with this video, those of you who don't agree with me politically, I respect that. But can we all just look at what we're actually in disagreement over? We don't disagree that we want the war to stop. We don't disagree that we want to keep money in America. We just don't agree on politics. What does that have to do with our mutual needs and wants? I was in a program and it said, and this is something I live by, let's focus on our similarities and not our differences. That's how we get things done. We want the same thing. The right person is in office right now to make it happen. How about we just give them a little chance to make it happen? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.